Hey everyone, welcome back to another Sims 4 mod review. Today we are doing a little bit of a different mod review today. It's on kind of the sadder side of things in the Sims 4, but it's still one of my favorite mods, and it is the Mortem Mod by Sims Realist, and it basically adds a little spice to the deaths in the Sims 4. I feel like when your Sims die in the Sims 4, you really can't have like a proper funeral for them or even have like a little cemetery unless you make one. But in this mod, it kind of changes that to give them a proper funeral and allow for your Sims who lost a loved one or maybe lost a friend or whoever they lost have a little bit of, more options when it comes to a death in a household, where this mod will actually let your Sims have like a bereavement leave. So like if they're from like work or school, they can have a little bit of time off to kind of process the death. They'll also have some of their friends come over and do like a condolence visit and stuff like that. It adds a little bit more to the death side of the game. And also this mod goes perfectly if you have the S&B bills mod and the bank account mod, because when your Sims pass away, inheritance will go right into their accounts. If they're let's say their parents, passed away, they had, quite a bit of money. If you have it to where both of them have like an account, if that makes sense, that the inheritance will go to their account. So enough of me rambling. Let's get into today's mod review and see how this works in game. So we're in game, and there's a reason I'm actually starting off on this area. Normally we're in the households, but as always with the Sim Realist mods, when you need to place down the property for the actual funeral home, and there's a couple different options. I think there's like 3 of them, but as always, I want to make sure that you guys download the or not download, but I guess download the correct lot into your game. But by correct lot, I mean by that everything is there for it to work. And sometimes it can be a little confusing, but this one is not too terribly confusing. It's just like any other Sim Realist mod. If you have private practice in your game or the financial center, you just need to place down the lot and make sure it's got the trait. So what we're going to do is go into our gallery as always. Once you download those tray folders, make sure to click on lots and include custom content, just so you don't have a bunch of other Sims popping up on your library. That's what I do to make it a little bit easier. And then you'll see all these properties, and of course we've got our lovely health centers there. But right down here you'll see this heritage funeral home, and then you've got a legacy funeral home, and then you've also got this Oracle Point funeral home. I normally use this Heritage Point funeral home, but it's really, you can do whatever you want with it. You don't have to play with this one. I play with it because it's got a lot more, I don't want to say amenities because that just sounds so wrong for a funeral, but like it's just got more stuff there. Like it's got like a proper like cemetery. It's got, a bigger area to host like the funeral and a couple other different things. So we'll go ahead and click this place lot and edit, and I'm going to place it at this part because it is a 50 by 50. So this is like the actual funeral home, and you can tell it is pretty big. But if we go and actually look at the lot itself, like I said, you've got like this whole kind of like, waiting areas and stuff like that. You've got, a couple different like, dining tables if you're like doing a dinner or something like that. This is where the actual funeral will be held at. As you can see, there's like a little like stand for the casket and all that. They've got this whole funeral home. Now you can do whatever you want. If you wanted to put your own family members here, you could do that. They also got these masoneries that you can store the bodies in. I know that's pretty common in cemeteries to have like, the big monasteries with your family members in there. And then if you go upstairs, they've got a couple extra things up here. I don't know why there's computers here, because I know darn well that the NPCs that show up to this funeral will be at the computers and not even in the funeral, but that's besides the point. Anyways, I quite like it just because there's a lot more space. So if you have a bigger family, it won't be, compact. Also, it doesn't really cost you anything to use the funeral home. But what we need to make sure is that we have, lovely here. It already has the funeral home here. You want to have this trait on the lot, or if it doesn't, it will not work. So make sure you have this funeral home trait here on the lot, and you should be good. You can add other traits as well if you want to, but we'll just stick with the funeral home. After that is done, make sure to make it on generic, because sometimes the Sims likes to play funny little tricks on us and make it residential, and then you really won't be able to use it. So make sure it's on generic. If you run into an issue where you get to the actual property and it's still on like residential, you can just change it really quick back to generic and it should start to work. But we'll now go back into our main household to get this started. The party started. I mean, really, it shouldn't really be a party because I'm gonna have to kill a sim today. Okay, so we're back into our lovely abode. I have this beautiful couple here and we're gonna go and kill one of them for the sake of this mod review. Now, I did want to point out something, that this mod does kind of override the Grim Reaper, so you will not be able to get your sims back. So when they die, you can't plead with the Grim Reaper because it kind of overrides that system to make it, you know, more realistic. So yes, it does suck because you can't plead for your sims back, but there is something called ambrosia in the Sims where you can get your sims back, you know, through gardening. But I just want to point that out there because a lot of people do like to plead for their loved ones back. With this one, you can't do that. They're dead, they're gone unless you use ambrosia. Anyways, continuing on with this mod, I think I'm gonna kill Natalia here, or Nathalia. I don't really know how to say that name. So we'll go ahead and use MC Command Center to end her life today so that we can get this mod review started. Okay, so we got some choices here. We can be consumed by the mother, which I assume is, I don't really know. We could do death by cowplant. That could be kind of interesting. We could do electrocution, embarrassment, fire. I think I'm just gonna click, we'll just click. Maybe we could do death by anger. Or maybe electrocution. We'll do electrocution. Okay, kill sim. So now she's should be dying. Yeah, oh. It was a little much. Anyways, as you'll see on your screen, it says it appears as though someone is dying. You need to call the emergency services immediately. Click on your phone and look for the household tab, then select report death. Now, I'm gonna pause the game really quick to explain something to you guys. When a sim is dead, obviously we can't go into build mode, we can't go to the gallery, we can't, you can't travel or go to the gallery, and you can't save or exit your game or else it won't save the progress. Now, a part of this mod is that you do have to call a medical, you know, emergency services. Now, an NPC will do it if you don't have an active sim around a sim that is dead, so you won't have to worry about, you know, the NPCs, like they'll handle it. But if you're on a lot where someone dies and you don't call them, you're just gonna have to wait till either an NPC does it or you do it. But the part of calling them is, we'll actually go into that right now. So I'll go ahead and call them to let them know that we have a sim that is dead on our property. Now, be careful, because if you call them and report a death and there's no one dead, you will get charged 200 simoleons. So be very careful, but we're gonna go ahead and report this death. And once we report this death, we'll have the medical examiner come by to pick up the body. Once they pick up that body, they will then give us the option to do the actual funeral service. So he's just doing his thing right now. I don't know what, it kind of takes him a little bit to get the body, but as you'll see, that goes into the bag. And then it says, every sim deserves a proper funeral. Would you like to pay respects to Natalia I don't even know how to say her last name, death, and by the executor of her funeral, and be the executor of her funeral. We want to click yes for this. If you click no, you won't have to do the funeral services at all. So like this comes in handy with the NPCs. Maybe you don't know them, you don't want to deal with them, you can just click no. But for this video, we'll click yes. And we will now choose the executor. So if you have more sims in your household, you can choose which one you want, but we'll go ahead and pick Kira, and they'll go ahead and take the body. And now it will say that's it for now. I'll have to take the body for further investigation and for the post-mortem treatment. I'll call you in a couple of days with the results. In the meantime, I'll leave you to your grief. You have my deepest condolences. So once they get all of that stuff back and they have like the post-mortem stuff done, we will be able to get that option to have the funeral. But for now, we have a couple of days. And as you see here, it says because of the recent death of a loved one, your sims can now request a bereavement leave from their school/workplace, the work tab of their cell phone. Now, I don't know if she has a job. She does not have a job. But what is, oh, not the welcome wagon. I just had someone die. How rude of them. Anyways, if you go to your tab on like the business section of it, it should give you an option if you had work that you could request the bereavement leave, and then your sims will have a couple days off of work, which is quite nice because in the Sims, like without this mod, you don't get that option. You just go back to work and act as if nothing happened. You could have, you know, your husband, your wife, your parents die, and the Sims just act as if it's just a regular Tuesday. Anyways, we'll wait a couple days and I'll come back when we have, you know, when we can do the funeral. So it's now Monday around like 3 p.m. and we have this condolence visit. Bob Pancakes is calling me. I don't know why, but he says, hey, Kira, I've been feeling pretty down in the dumps lately. Nothing seems to be, I'm just gonna tell him to power through it, but my sim just lost her wife. So anyways, we have this condolence visit and Hillary is here, which is our neighbor, but she's not because she lives in Tartosa, but that's besides the point. Anyways, they'll come over and she'll get this little buff of too soon. Some friends and family came in for a condolence visit, but it's still too soon for Kira. She is still in the very first stages of grief and would prefer to be alone right now. So your Sims might have a different reaction to this, but so far, because she is, you know, pretty sad, she's probably not going to be too happy with people showing up. But what we can probably do is have her talk through her issues. So the condolence visit is over. So now I'm just having her make dinner, but until then, we'll just wait till I get word back from the examiner. It's now Tuesday at 1 p.m. and she's feeling flirty, weirdly enough. All of the sadness went away. Your Sims only stay sad for a couple of days, but we are still waiting for the medical examiner to call back. So I'm not exactly sure when he should be calling back, but it should be soon because it's already Tuesday. And oh, here we go. Literally, speak of the devil. Anyways, greetings, Kira. It's me again, dear Dr. Gorman, your assigned medical examiner. So I'm calling to let you know that the remains were already examined and properly treated. Is your best interest to proceed with a funeral service to honor the memory of Natalia, or would you like to donate remains to science to help people in need? We're going to go ahead and do the funeral service, but you can also donate. I do believe you still have to pay to donate the remains to science, but we'll just click on the funeral service. And then Kira needs to call the funeral home to decide how she wants the funeral to go. Click on your phone and look for the household tab, then select call funeral home. So we'll go to the phone menu, go to the home tab, and then it should pop up right here with the call funeral home. We'll go ahead and click on that. And then right here, we'll need to click on the sim we want to do the funeral for. So it's Natalie, and then we'll have an option for cremation or a burial. Now keep in mind that it does cost money. So for cremation, it would be 3,000 simoleons. For an actual burial, it would be 4,500 simoleons. But we'll go ahead and do this burial because then we can take the gravestone and put it on our property. This is 4,500 simoleons. We'll click there, and then we'll go ahead and confirm right here. If you don't want to, if you change your mind and you're like, oh no, I want to cremate, you can close and then redo it, but we'll just click confirm. And then you can ask to have a funeral service, or you don't have to do one, but we'll say yes because we are doing a mod review. And then if you have more than one funeral home in your game, you can click a different one, but here we'll click the Heritage Funeral Home, and we'll click on that, and it'll pop up saying your funeral service has been scheduled for Wednesday at 5 p.m. You will get a reminder when the time comes. So that's in about 24 sim hours, and it is now time to start the funeral. It says it's time to start the funeral service in the memory of Natalie. The family and friends of the deceased are already on their way to the funeral, so you don't have to worry about inviting your Sims. They should be already invited for you. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you have a bigger family, maybe you should get the bigger funeral home just so that they're not all, like, you know, in a tight room together, tight space. Knowing Sims, they would probably kill more people with them and being in a small room than in a bigger one. All right, so we are at the funeral home. She is changed into her best Sunday outfit. We do have a couple goals though, like we've got to listen to the eulogy, the call guests to meal, and thank guests for coming. Now I'm not sure of all the guests that are here. Are you one? Is he a guest, or is he just a jogger? He's just a jogger. So we can go over to this place over here, which is where the funeral will take place, and we should be able, I want to wait to see who else coming. Is there no one here? Is it just, no, we got people here. We've got people here. We've got this person I don't know who's a funeral home director. We've got this a caterer. So they're not even, we're just gonna have her sit here and just see if anyone will come. There should be, okay, we've got Hillary here. Thank you, Hillary, for coming. The first guest to arrive. I need to thank her though, so at least we can get that point. Maybe we can just talk a little bit until we thank her. Now, the funeral should last for a good 8 hours, but at any time you can end it. They just do that because, you know, Sims have got their own way of, you know, sometimes they take their sweet time. Everyone's just in the bathroom. They're all in the bathroom. We're gonna thank for coming. We should get one done out of there. So, okay, so I've thanked them, and I don't know why they're making me socialize, but I guess we will. Okay, oh, wait a minute. Oh, they already do it? They already did the eulogy. eulogy and I wasn't even there for it. Okay, well, we got our funeral thing. That kind of stink. Is there a way I can override it? Why does this keep on happening to me? Even the last video I made, I did something. This was not my fault though. They wanted me to host with the guests. I was doing my thing. I was waiting for more people to show up. I guess you're on a time crunch with that. So be careful. Maybe deliver the eulogy when you get there. Kind of disheartened by that, but you know what we can do? We can go ahead and put like her headstone in here, so it's kind of like a proper cemetery. We'll go ahead and leave it like a sugar skull, because I think sometimes if you leave them gifts, they'll you know, visit you. I don't know. We got to engrave their thing as well. I guess I told you it wouldn't work. That kind of works out because she got electrocuted. She could have been fixing the TV. We'll go ahead and do that. Mourn loved one for at least 30 minutes. Okay, mourn Natalia. They're there. Now she's all sad again because she was doing pretty good. I don't know, maybe can we call to meal over here for the guests and stuff like that? We'll go ahead and call them to a meal and then they can eat their food. Kind of disappointed I missed the actual main part of the mod because I was too busy socializing. But I feel like they should give you a better like heads up of like, hey, eulogy time. Did they do that? I don't even think they did that. They just sent this. The funeral event was a great tribute to the memory of Natalie. Her urn or gravestone is now in Kier's inventory. Place it in a way you could pay some respects. They didn't even tell me they were doing the eulogy. It's okay. We've had a nice day at the funeral, kind of a gathering for your Sims to, you know, make it seem a little bit, you know, more important when a Sim dies in their life, because I feel like, again, the Sims just don't do anything. They pass away, you get the grave or the urn or whatever it is, and then you know, place it on your lot and you maybe mourn them, and then they're gone. And it's sad because it's not like they don't get a proper funeral. So now you can actually do that in The Sims. Okay, so we had peaceful closure. The funeral service was a success. Nothing will be able to erase the memory of their loved one in their hearts, but at least your Sims can try to move on from the loss and allow themselves to feel happiness again. It won't be easy at first. Sometimes it will be especially hard, but you cannot allow yourself to feel guilty about getting back to living and enjoying life. That's what they would have wanted after all. All Sims who attended the funeral service has now received a peaceful closure moodlet that will help them move on. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, at least your Sims have closure now with the death in their family. They can move on, you know, however they feel, but have like a kind of a fresh start in life and not feel like the death didn't mean anything in The Sims. Which is why I love this mod so much, because, you know, granted, we couldn't really get a proper funeral service, but we did. We had a nice gathering with some of our friends. Obviously, you should probably go and deliver the eulogy when you first get there just to make sure that you don't miss it. But still, you know, I can't blame them. They're Sims. I don't really expect much from them, but we'll send her home before she pees her pants. I'm gonna log off of here, and that is the end to this video. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this mod review. I certainly did filming it. I think it adds a lot to your game, again, with the Sims death. I just don't know why the Sims made it to where the Grim Reaper comes in. Nothing wrong with the Grim Reaper. I love the Grim Reaper, but they just act as if it's nothing. Like, your Sims die, then your other Sims are either having to go back to work and school, deal with the death on top of it, not really get like a proper funeral service. So this mod is perfect to add into your game to make it more realistic, but also give your Sims that peace of mind that they will be okay one day in their game. In a couple of days, they'll be fine. They'll be, you know, back at it again in the Sims 4 worlds. But with that, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and comment your favorite part about this mod review and would you download it into your Sims 4 game. But if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all on Friday.